Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, I'll be solving this coding problem from LeetCode. The title is 2sum2, and for those who are new to this channel, let me tell you that this video is going to be a part of competitive programming series. So in this series of video, I generally talk about how you can approach a coding problem and starting from a naive solution, how you can reach to an optimal solution. The idea of this competitive programming series is to develop a skill so that you can easily crack any coding interview. And if you haven't checked my competitive programming playlist on YouTube yet, I would highly recommend you to check that playlist. And also for more such content, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. So without any further delay, let's start with this video. So here the problem description says, given an array of integers that is already sorted in ascending order, find two numbers such that they add up to a specific target number. The function toSum should return the indices of the two numbers such that they add up to the target, where index 1 must be less than the index 2. So if you see, you need to write a function something like this in any of your preferred language, and this function should return the indices of those two numbers. Okay, so here the question is very straightforward. Let's go through the notes. Your returned answers are not zero based. That means, as we know that indices starts with 0, but here the expected output should be non-zero based. That means we have to add 1 to the indices value, right? You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution and you may not use the same element twice. That means you will definitely get two values which will add up to this target value. So here the idea is to find those two numbers and return the position of that particular number. So for example, for this given input where the elements are 2, 7, 11, 15 and the target value is 9. Here the answer is 1 and 2. Here, as they have already mentioned that this is not zero based, that means 1 means the first element and 2 means the second element. If you add these two numbers, you will get 9. That's why the output would be 1 and 2. Similarly, for this input, we need to get a target of 6. That means the first element and the very last element will add up to 6. That's why the answer is 1 and 3. Similarly, for the last input, minus 1 and 0, the target value is minus 1. So adding the first and second element would get me minus 1. So let's go through the constraints. Here nums.length would be ranging from 2 to 3 cross 10 to the power 4. That means we will have minimum of 2 elements and maximum of 3 cross 10 to the power 4 elements. And nums of I would range between negative 1000 to positive 1000. And nums is sorted in increasing order. And then the target value would also lie between negative 1000 to positive 1000. So here these are some constraints which we need to keep in mind while writing the solution. Here we will start with a naive approach or brute force approach, and then we'll see how we can optimize our solution to get an optimal solution. And at the end we'll see the code for an optimal solution for this given problem. Okay. Now I will discuss different solution for this given problem. For that I'll come to my IntelliJ editor. So for approach 1, the brute force solution would be to iterate through each element and to check if for that particular element there is another element present in the array which can add up to a target value. For example, let's say you have given this array and the target value required is 28. So the brute force approach would be to iterate through each element. So here we can simply use a nested loop. So for each element we can check if there is any other value present, by adding which we can get 28. So for element 2 we will check if 2 plus 7 is 28. It is not, then I'll simply move to the next element. 2 plus 11 is 13. I'll move to next element. 2 plus 15 is 17. 2 plus 17 is 19. 2 plus 25 is 27. So what I'll do next, I'll simply move to the next element. So now I will be pointing to 7. Similarly for 7, I'll compare with all these elements and see if we get 28. So we need to iterate through all these elements to check if there is any other element present. So here also we will not get any element. Next we'll check for 11. Again for 11 we'll check if 11 plus 15 is 28. No. If 11 plus 17 is 28. Yes. So now we have this two numbers 11 and 17 which will give me 28. So what we can do, we can simply return these two indices by adding 1. And this will be your result. So here in this approach you can simply see that as we are using a nested loop, we are having a time complexity of order of n square and a space complexity of 1. So next we'll see if we can optimize this, because if you see in the given problem the number of elements is huge. So if you write a brute force solution you will definitely get time limit exceeded error. Okay. So now we'll see how we can optimize this. So in approach 2, we can think of using some data structure so that we can optimize this time solution. So what we can do is we can simply use a hash map. you can simply iterate through each element and check if its complement value is present in the hash map, otherwise insert the element. So in this approach, let's say you are given this array and the target value is 28. So here what we can do, we can simply initialize a map. So this map will remain empty in the beginning, and then we will start iterating through this array. So let's say for element 2, we'll see if the complement value is present in the map or not. What is complement value? Complement value is nothing but your target value minus this element. So here 28 minus 2 would be 26. We'll check if 26 is present. Here in the map it is not present. So here what we will do, we'll simply add this value to this map with its index value. So here index value is 0. Similarly, we'll check for next element 7. Here the complement value is 28 minus 7, 21. So here what we will do, as the complement value is not present, we'll add 28 and its index value. Similarly, we'll do for 11. For 11 the complement value is 17. So we'll add 11 as well. And then for 15 the complement value is 13. So it is not present. We'll add 15 here. And then we'll check for 17. For 17 the complement value is 11. And if you see in this map, the complement value is present over here. So from here what we can do, we can simply return this index value and the index value of this element. So we can simply return an array of 2 plus 1, and for 17 the index value is 4. So here 4 plus 1, this would be 3, 5. So I hope the approach 2 is clear. Here if you see, we are iterating over this array only once. That's why the time complexity over here is order of n, and the space complexity is order of n, as we are using a extra data structure. So now we'll see, we have improved on the time part, but can we improve on the space part as well? So for that we'll see the third approach. So next let's see the third approach. We will be able to solve this problem with time complexity order of n and space complexity order of 1. Here to explain approach 3, which will be our optimal solution, I'll go to the presentation. So we should be thinking in this line where we can use this information. So here to get to an optimal solution, what we can do is we can simply use this information from this problem description, where they have mentioned that this given input array would be in sorted order, right? So whenever you are getting an input which is already sorted, here you can always think of using 2 pointers. For example, let's say you are given this array and these are its valid indexes, right? So what we can do, we can simply initialize 2 pointers, one at the beginning of the array and one at the very last element of the array. And from here, as we know that this array is sorted, we always know that at the leftmost we have the smallest number and at the rightmost we have the highest number, and we can simply check if these two number adds up to 28. So here let's say if I add these two values, we get 27, which is less than target. From here we have two options, either we can move pointer 1 towards right, or we can move pointer 2 towards left. As we know that this array is sorted and the value currently we are getting is 27, and where we want to get is 28, which is higher number, right? So moving this to the left will always give me a smaller number, right? Because right now you are adding the minimum value and the maximum value, which is giving you a 27. If you move pointer 2 to the left, you will obviously get something which is lesser than 27. But here the target is to get to 28, which is higher than this. So obviously we will move pointer 1. So here we are incrementing pointer 1 by 1. Now next we will point to value 7. And from here we will simply add up these two values, where we will get 32, which is now greater than 28. So now here we have two options, either we can move pointer 2 or pointer 1. If we move pointer 1, we will always get something greater than 32. But what we want to get is 28, which is much more lesser. That means we need to move pointer 2. So next we'll simply decrement the pointer 2 by 1. And here if we add up these two values, 7 plus 17, we get 24, which is less. That means we need to move pointer 1. So we'll increment the pointer 1. And then we'll simply add these two values, 11 plus 17, which is 28. Now as we can see that this is equal to our target value. And from here we'll simply take the index value and we'll add 1 and we'll simply return 3 and 5. So if you notice, by using 2 pointers, we are simply iterating over this array once. That means the time complexity is order of n, and also as we haven't used any extra space, so space complexity would be order of 1. So I hope the explanation is clear. Now is the time to see some code. So here is the function written in Java So here what I am doing, as I showed in the presentation, I'll initialize 2 pointers, one at the very beginning and one at the end. And then I'll run this while loop until pointer 1 is less than pointer 2. Because if you read the problem description carefully, it says that it will have exactly one solution, and also you shouldn't be using the same element twice. That means these pointers will always get a valid pair which will add up to the target value before meeting at the same element. That is the reason we have this condition, and then we always check by adding the values at pointer 1 and pointer 2. If it is less than the target value, we simply move the pointer 1, and if it is greater than the target value, we simply decrement the pointer 2. And if it is equal to the target value, we'll simply break this while loop, and then we can simply return pointer 1 and pointer 2 by adding 1 to it. So let's run this program to see what it gives. So we have this 2, 7, 11, 15. So for this the target value is 9, so we should be getting 1 and 2. Okay, so if you see, we got 1 and 2, right? And similarly we'll see the Kotlin solution. So here if you see, I have written a similar method where I have initialized pointer 1 with 0 and pointer 2 with the last element, and then I have written a similar while loop where I have put the condition pointer 1 should be less than pointer 2, and then I am checking if the values at pointer 1 and 2 is less than target, then we'll increment the pointer 1. If it is greater than target, we will decrement the pointer 2, and if it is equal to the target, then we'll simply break this while loop, and then we can simply return pointer 1 and pointer 2 by adding 1 to it. So if you run this program, you will get similar output 1 and 2. Okay, so I hope the explanation is clear to you. The idea here is that whenever you get something in sorted form, you can start thinking on the pointer side, because by using pointers you can solve similar kind of problem. Previously I have solved one similar problem, Dutch flag problem. I will link that video in the I button, you can watch it from there. That's all about this video. If you learned something from this video, please hit the like button, and if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press that bell icon so that you get notified for our upcoming new videos. Thank you for watching.